Okay, it looks like we're live. Never can tell. Yeah, it looks like we are. 1 second, I'm just going to pull it up. Never can tell. Here we go. I think we are, but you're not in the room with me. So hang on, let's see what's gone on there. Okay, it looks like we're live. Never can tell. One sec, Marylene. I'm just trying to get you into the picture with me. It doesn't seem to be pulling you in. Here we go. It is now. Hello, guys. Welcome, everybody. I'll just allow people to join us. So as you start to join, please say hello. You're joining myself, Kelly McHugh, and Marylene from Zaz Yoga is here all the way from Bali. So we're going to be speaking with Marylene's going to be sharing her story with you guys today as to how she's built her business, how she's tripled her community over the last year and built a 6-figure yoga business during a pandemic. And she's going to be sharing how she's gone about that today. So as you start to join, say hi. Who's here today? We've got Sal. Hello, Sally Ann. Share where you guys are watching from. So welcome, Marylene. How are you doing today, love? How are you doing
today? I'm doing great. Thank you. Doing great. It's been a beautiful, busy day.
Wonderful. How's life in Bali?
Life is pretty good in Bali. We have a few less restrictions, I think, than the rest of the world. So we've been very pleased and can still enjoy some nice outside time and sunshine. So no, we've been very blessed over the last year.
Nice. And whereabouts are you based there?
So I'm mostly based in the southeast in a little town called Canggu, which has become now the hub for digital nomads. So it's right by the beach with amazing little cafes, nice, very relaxed ambience.
Beautiful. How long have you been living out there then?
It's been now 3.5 years. I moved to Bali from Dubai. I spent 10 years of my life in Dubai, working the corporate world, rocking it, loving it. And at one point, as my yoga journey really took the most part of my life and became such an important passion, I decided to go back to school. So with that decision 3.5 years ago, my partner and I decided to move to Bali for this time of, for me to finish my PhD and live in the less expensive city than Dubai.
Wow, okay. So you came from a corporate background then. What sort of roles were you working in back then?
I was working in strategy. I was managing the global HR operations strategy for an IT company, which was fantastic, but very demanding. So having global role meant waking up really early to talk to Japan and going to bed very late with California. So I was used to being on my computer with remote work, remote teams all the time. So yeah, coming back to working on my computer this year was actually quite refreshing, going back to my roots.
Yeah, sure. But back then, when you you decided to do your teacher training, like what was your kind of vision back then as to what you wanted to create?
None, actually. When I decided to do my teacher training, it was simply to find out more. The decision came when my best friend had a depression and we started doing yoga in my backyard together. And witnessing her recovery and then relating to my own story of how yoga had helped me like throughout my career when things were getting too intense, too busy to just come back to myself, and then seeing it in someone else, I just wanted to understand. So I was very lucky, divine timing, to fall on the first yoga therapy training that was delivered in Dubai. And it just called me. I joined that training, absolutely loved it, fell in love with yoga philosophy, fell in love with yoga anatomy. And from then on, it was like, no, there's something in there that I need to share with the world. And this is how I want to have an impact with the world. So I really had a 180-degree change from loving my corporate career, and I have no regret whatsoever. A lot of people go to yoga because they're not happy in their career. That wasn't my case. It was just like this curiosity that turned into kind of a life mission, if you want to realize that so many people live in pain, right? To me, that was really the trigger, that we live with back pain, with headache. I was one to, go to bed with a glass of red wine and 2 Panadols almost on a daily basis. And to me, that was normal, right? Oh, I'm busy, that's going to calm me down. But that's not normal to have headaches every day. And that's not normal to have psychological distress, or it's not normal to have constant back pain. And yoga made me realize that, and that's what I wanted to share with people. So it started small, teaching corporate yoga and yoga in gyms in Dubai and private clients, and then discovering really how the human body is mistreated by our modern lifestyle. I fell in love with anatomy and decided to go back to school and do my PhD in osteopathy, which led me to then wanting to focus solely on teaching.
Yeah, amazing. And then you had the idea for Zaz Yoga at that point?
Zaz Yoga was my personal brand since my early years of yoga. Zaz was my teenage nickname from, I don't really like to talk about it, but Scoop, it's from the Lion King. You remember that little blue bird? So because my hair has been blue since I was 12,
right.
I was called Zazu, right? So Zaz Yoga came from there just as an Instagram handle, right? And then I discovered that Zazu actually meant movement. So it was very suitable. And I started teaching in teacher trainings personally as Marylene, teaching yoga philosophy, teaching anatomy, teaching alignment, sequencing. And like seeing many different yoga teacher trainings, I could really see like what I liked and what I didn't like, and what I would do different, and how I would serve my clients differently. So after a few years of that, was like, okay, now it's time to build my own curriculum with everything that I want to share.
Amazing. And so you came into the Profitable Yoga Teacher a couple of years now. You're one of our first group of students that graduated from that program. What was your goal when you came into that program? Because back at that point, you were teaching in person solely. So what were you coming into the program to actually do for your business?
So I joined the program in 2018, and that's when we were getting our new Zaz Yoga curriculum for the yoga teacher training reviewed by Yoga Alliance. And I came into the program because my goal was to teach part of this program online. My objective coming from the corporate world was, I want to teach a curriculum that's half online, and then people can come to Bali for 10 days. Because let's be real, to take 1 month off from work, getting the family sorted, the dog sitter, it's difficult and it's expensive. So that's really what I wanted to do at the time. And I joined the Profitable Yoga Teacher program with that intention. Yeah. And it didn't turn out the way I wanted. So as we were submitting our curriculum to Yoga Alliance, at the time, Yoga Alliance was absolutely not accepting online learning. Not even like a year ago, they were accepting, I think, 20 hours or 30 hours in total. But back in 2018, it was nothing. Nothing was accepted as online learning. And because we were having our curriculum review for approval, they started thinking that I was going to anyway teach that curriculum online, and we're really about just to shut down my school. So I backed off and I said, okay, no, I'm not going to teach online. And then we went with the traditional way of 200-hour Yoga Alliance teacher training. So I have to say that for a year, although I followed the program and I learned a lot, I thought about, okay, maybe I could do a course on this, or maybe I could do a course on that, but my heart really wasn't into it. Yeah. I learned so much, but when it was coming time to deliver, like, this wasn't my voice. This wasn't what. what I wanted to do. So when 2020 happened, I feel ashamed to say it, but deep down I was celebrating that I finally had the opportunity to have the authorization by Yoga Alliance to do what I want and to offer a program that's online and convenient for people.
Yeah, sure. I mean, they did a U-turn because the industry needed that, right, in order to continue teaching and in order to survive. So, what was your process then in 2020 when that happened? Like, how did you quickly transition your content and your curriculum online? What was the process you went through?
For me, it was very easy. It happened me sending a WhatsApp message to my business partner at 4 o'clock in the morning, telling her, we're doing this, we're going to do a yoga teacher training online, meet me at my place. And so we sat, we looked at what were the classes, what we had to adapt, how we were going to adapt it. But the transition was so easy because I had already all the tools. Like I knew which platforms I needed to use. I knew how to connect them. I knew how to interact with the students, thanks to your program, by the way. So it was a spin-off that happened so naturally because everything was ready. Like from the years before, I already knew what I wanted to do with the teacher training. Yeah. And now I had all of the tools, and all I was missing was the seal of approval that the training would be recognized. So we put together kind of a schedule for our students if they were to do it in 30 days, but decided to then offer the flexibility to do it part-time as well, because some people were still working part-time or having like family commitments, kids at home, homeschooling, all these things. And we built it really with the goal in mind, and that's always been like at the core of our school, that we want to graduate competent teachers, right? And when you offer an online program, you cannot just like share videos and say, okay, go bye, you're graduate, you're ready to teach. That doesn't work. Some programs are informative and you can do that, but when it comes to certifying yoga teachers, I believe it's really important to be there to accompany them, to give them tips, to review their work, to re-review their work. So yeah, we built it in a way that that is so personal, and it's just been really fantastic to have that experience of, because I'm not teaching classes all day, I can spend time one-on-one with my students every day for 15 to 20 minutes, looking at what they're doing, giving them tips. And yeah, it's been fantastic. So it's been a lot of hard work, 6 weeks of filming, putting everything together, video editing. But once it's launched, it's just about maintaining and being there for the community.
Yeah, of course. Can students come in at any time, or do you have set launch dates and enrollment dates and like set start dates?
We decided to go with continuous enrollment, so people can join at any time. That's the format that we elected because we wanted to offer flexibility. And once students are enrolled, they can do the training in 1 month, or they can do it in 1 year. So for us to have set dates was not really making sense, to have someone say, no, you need to wait 2 weeks because we're just taking our next batch in 2 weeks, when they're ready to start now and they could progress. So yeah, that's that continuous enrollment. So every week we have a couple of students joining, every week we have a couple of students graduating.
Okay, so you've got like pre-recorded content that they can access then as soon as they come in, and then the live support from you, is that like a weekly kind of Q&A or coaching session? How does that look? And is it just group format, or is there some one-to-one elements as well?
There's a lot of one-to-one element. I actually often say that our online training is almost like having a private yoga teacher training, because our students submit videos and pictures of their practices every day, and then we review them and send them their personalized feedback, which I also, just a parenthesis for anyone building their course there, as a teacher, I know when I shout verbal feedback, I never shout, but when I share verbal feedback, very often like people will capture a little bit of it, but very likely they'll be busy with something else and forget about it. When you receive a written feedback, we have to be really careful with the tone of the feedback, obviously, but I see it so ingrained that I've seen incredible progression in my students' practice, because like they read the details and it's kind of imprinted in them. It's there and they can come back to it. So yeah, there's this one-on-one feedback that is kind of delayed, because we receive, we review, and then we send. Then we have one-on-one calls with our students, and we also have weekly group calls where the community comes together, and we either have Q&A or business lectures, or lectures about therapeutic yoga or inclusion, where we receive panels. So every week they have a different topic and they keep learning and they come together, and yeah, it's really beautiful.
Amazing. And I think that's so important, you know, with a lot online training, so that you don't lose that interaction, to also have like the live access to you, but not only that, the community as well, because we know from an in-person teacher training, that's one of the most amazing parts about it. You know, you get to meet fellow yoga teachers that can become friends for life, and to have that support where you're all going through it together. So it's really important that you you know, embody that into the online version as well.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about how you've been building your community, because you've mentioned that you've tripled your community. Is that in the last year that has happened?
It's in the last year, yeah. So with in-person training, or Zaz Yoga community, and we keep it to our students. When we run trainings, because of that personalized approach that we really care about, we always limited our groups to about 12 students. So, and we were running trainings maybe 3 times a year. So, you know, that the community grows very, very slowly. And then the community of like people interested in the content we want to share, honestly, I didn't have time to take care of that. I was busy teaching. So the fact that now I could focus on being online and supporting my students really allow us to exponentially grow the number of people that we could reach, both with the training, because I was not limited by taking care of the logistic and driving to classes, but really just like be there for my students. And also has allowed us to grow the community in like people I interact less, maybe just through mailings or things like that, just by having a reason now to talk to them. Because before that, reaching out to people to come for yoga teacher training in Bali was a bit like a shot in the dark, because there's so many trainings, and Bali is kind of one of the epicenter of the world for yoga teacher trainings. So yeah, I didn't really do it. I didn't see the interest. But now that we're online and it's so easy to reach people, then we organize little master classes or webinars, and so there's a lot more.
Okay. So you mentioned like master classes, webinars. What other content were you sharing? Like, did you have more of a plan? Because obviously you've said you had more time now to be able to do these things. So did you kind of like plan out the type of content that you wanted to share to really kind of attract your ideal client?
We did. The fact that we went online and had a little more time to think about not just our strategy, but our identity as a school really allowed us to narrow exactly what we want to offer and who we want to offer it to. So that's changed what we teach a little bit. I think we're a lot more specialized in what differentiates us, and also allowed us to say, like, when you come to Zaz Yoga, you get this that you don't get anywhere else. And that was amazing, because then it's so much easier to reach out to people and to be heard among the insane noise that is out there when it comes to yoga teacher training. You come to Zaz Yoga for this particular reason. If that's not what you're looking for, we're not the school for you, and that's perfect. That's awesome, because then I'm happy to share what I can share with you, but I'm not going to waste my time trying to convince you to come to my school. So our message became so much clearer by having that time to sit down and say, okay, what do we want to, how do we want to serve our clients? how do we want our students to be known as teachers? And then that just has the beautiful ripple effect. And I would say that now a majority of my clients come from referrals from our students.
Yeah, so that's so interesting because, you know, I share in the group so much. So these guys that are watching now will have heard me talk about, you know, finding your niche, narrowing in, the fact that your marketing just doesn't work unless you know who it is that you're serving, and you can't know who you're serving unless you've really narrowed it and done that work. So, you know, when your marketing works, your messaging is clearer, it gets through, and you start to see growth. And one of the key kind of fears, I guess, for a lot of teachers is they're afraid to do that narrowing in. They're afraid to actually make that choice as who they want to serve and what they want to offer. And then, of course, you know, it's a ripple effect. Marketing doesn't work, and then you struggle to grow your community. So I'm so pleased that you mentioned that as one of the key reasons why you've been growing, because that is exactly it. You get that right, and you open up the opportunity to be able to speak to the right people and to be able to cut through that busy noise. So what about your email list then? How have you been approaching email marketing during this time to kind of have that direct contact with your clients and your community?
So I'll have to be honest, email marketing is still like on my 2021 resolution list. I'm not so good at like reaching out to potential clients, and I'm getting there. I'm getting more help as well. But what we've done through the free master classes that we have, for example, for product launches, to share little tips, and tips that then reflect back to what is Zaz Yoga. So that gives an idea to people, like if I want to follow these guys, if I'm interested in them, this is what I'm going to learn. So in 2021, I want to become a lot more active in, you know, sending these tips. I still have, I won't say that it's imposter syndrome. I think I've passed the imposter syndrome, but the they're not interested syndrome, you know?
Yeah.
You know, we all get that.
I mean, you know, you've been hugely successful last year during a pandemic. You've reached six figures in your business. It doesn't mean that when we get to that part in our business or that level in our business that all of these fears disappear. They don't. New fears come, you know, and they come when you're leveling up. You know, when each part, you know, you're doing really well, then you kind of like, oh, we're leveling up now. And with that, more fears will come up. So I love the fact that actually, you know, it's always about taking things step by step. And we don't, even though we know there's a lot of strategies out there, we don't have to do all of the things all at once. And the fact that you've done so well, yet email marketing is still something to tackle, like that just goes to show like the opportunities that are ahead. You know, there's even huger opportunities. So when you do these masterclasses for your launches, how are you promoting those? What's your approach? Do you get people to sign up to your list for that, to join those masterclasses?
Yeah, absolutely. So the way we've been doing it is first through our own networks, and then with some partners that we had, that then spread it and get people to join on the list, and then have a set email sequence after that to maintain the relationship and offer something.
So you are doing email marketing.
I am doing email marketing, but then the campaign finishes and I need to maintain it a little bit more and stay in touch. I've noticed that I'm much more interested to look after my current students or my past students. You know, we have an amazing newsletter that we send to them every month with lots of value. We organize these weekly calls where we reach out to amazing speakers, and that's really where I thrive. I love to give to our current and past students, and then reaching out to people is still a bit of a stretch of that. Oh, I'm going to become annoying. They'll think I'm spammy. So I'm working on that shift this year, that it's not about spamming people. It's really about providing value, and if they're not interested, they're not interested. That's fine. You know, they'll delete the email or unsubscribe to the mailing list. Actually, I celebrate when people unsubscribe to my mailing list. I'm like, yes, because that means you're not my potential audience, right? So out of my list, I don't want to spam you. So keep on subscribing.
Yeah, exactly. And then it makes room for the people who should be on your list so that you can really nurture those people. And, you know, they're the subscribers, they're the people whose eyes are going to light up when they see you land in their inbox, because you are there delivering value. And that's really what it's about, is that it's value and it's visibility, like those two things combined. And so you mentioned partners there a moment ago, which of course, you know, working with partners, building your network and looking at how you can collaborate is such an amazing way to get your brand out in front of audiences that are aligned to your own, extend your reach, but also it's an organic way and it's a free way, you know, it's a free way to grow your community. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you've been doing in terms of partnerships?
So we have been partnering with Yogi Times. I've been writing a few articles with them as well, helping out, you know, sorting through the noise of these online trainings. We've organized a masterclass with them because their audience and my audience have a lot in common. Now, whether they're interested in our specific approach is where, you know, the two circles may cross or not. We're also very soon going to launch 2 more super exciting partnerships with an insurance company and with a nonprofit organization in the United States, which are not necessarily like my target audience, but I see a lot of value. It's more kind of a giving back and offering something to an organization that is dear to my heart. So yeah, we're working with these partnerships. We were also working with different speakers that come to our weekly calls, where we're so happy to promote complimentary offerings to a teacher training, because, you know, when you finish a teacher training, like, okay, what next, right? Do I want to study Ayurveda? Do I need to, one of our calls, we had you presenting to our students, and I think that your course is amazing to complement a yoga teacher training. We've had speakers about Vedic astrology and things like that. So it gives us a little bit of access to their audiences as well through that kind of co-sharing.
Yeah, of course. And then you can, you know, set up affiliates. Do you have any affiliate partnerships that you set up as well?
We don't participate in affiliates. When we have a partnership with people, we prefer to offer discounts to our students rather than making $20. However, we do have an affiliate program for yoga teacher training, where some of our ex-students who like to promote it can earn a commission.
Yeah, so they promote your training, and then they can get the commission back. Amazing, that's fantastic. So anything else you want to share with us, Marylene, around how you built your community, or kind of the main successes that you've had in your business to date?
To me, a big success is about the strength of the community. Like, the school grew so much, but the strength of the community in terms of quality has just been amazing. You know, when you do an in-person training, you were mentioning you build these relationships, they're friendship for life. Yeah. But you still spread out, right? And I keep receiving text messages, questions from my past students, but it was kind of sporadic. Now, being online, it allowed me to bring back our in-person students into being really active and interacting and asking questions, and then people jumping in and supporting each other. And I'm so thankful for that, to see that people who did not necessarily study together are just like, yeah, we believe in the same thing. We want to share the same message, have the same impact. So let's support each other. And that just encourages me to just keep giving more and more and more. But then I must say, like, my biggest pride, like the thing I celebrate the most, and I still kind of cannot believe it, we're a small school, right? We have maybe less than 200 students in total, because we're fairly recent and we keep it small. And yet, at the moment, we sit next to the biggest names in the world in terms of best yoga teacher trainings online. And when that happened, like, it was mind-blowing to see that and just be so proud that, you know, the heart that we put in that was recognized. And I'm sorry, sitting next to Brett Larkins and My Vinyasa Yoga, or I don't remember their name exactly, it's like, wow, these guys are like $1 million businesses, and I'm right there next to them. So yeah, it's been a huge celebration and something to be so proud of.
So proud. Very, very proud of yourself. We're proud of you here at Digital. Yeah, it's amazing, absolutely amazing. But you know, you've put in the hard work, right? You know, this doesn't come easy. This is about the resilience, really, and showing up. Do you want to talk a bit about that before we close today, around your personal qualities that you've had to really bring to this to get your business where it is today?
I think the biggest one is care, right? To put real care into what we do. I think that's what's the most recognized for our school life, and that's why when I initially did the program to launch an online course, nothing really came out of it, because that wasn't my voice. My heart wasn't there. When it came to really do something that I was passionate about, like, all my heart was poured into that training, and it still is on a daily basis because the training keeps running. And when that happens, it's not work, you know, it's a lot of effort, it's long hours, but it's such a pleasure. And to have the opportunity to do that from home with my dog snoring under my desk, and you know, it's very different as well. It's a lot more pleasant for me to do that. Also, structure, I think, is an important quality to have. I'm a very structured person. Working in strategy, it was project plan after project plan. So that helped us to actually launch the course. From the day Yoga Alliance announced it to the day we launched, it took 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And we still had a few videos to record for 1 more week while students were already enrolling. And it's to things like we had trackers, was okay, between this time and this time, it's quiet, we record. I was starting a video editing and then running to my yoga room to film another one. And it required a lot of, hard work, organization. But yeah, at the end of the day, I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, because it's coming from here.
It does, you know, it's your baby, and my partner Ella and I are very complementary, but we share the same, you know, passion for offering something of quality and making sure that our students are competent, because they represent our school at the end of the day. So that care also reflects on, after that, the classes they teach to others and the quality of yoga they offer to others. And that's important to me, because that's the reason I switched from teaching yoga to training teachers. My passion for pain is not normal. I realized that if I wanted yoga to stop being something that actually creates pain, I had to train teachers, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like I'm really aligned with my life's mission right now, which is something.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And sometimes it does take a little bit of time. I mean, you came out of the program, well, you went into my program in 2018, right? So at that point, when you came out of it, Yoga Alliance, you know, held back. You weren't able to actually get what you're truly passionate about out into the world as an online format. And it took a pandemic for that time to actually come about for you, which is incredible, really. And you've just you just completely went for it and got everything done really quickly and out there. And, you know, now you can look back and be like, yeah, it's funny how sometimes these chapters, they all come together and align, and there you are. So what do you think, I'm looking back and coming out of my program specifically, what do you think has been the biggest impact for you in terms of the success of your business?
A lot of it was about seeing the possibility of what could be done and having it confirmed. Like the way that, you know, you really started with the mindset and narrowing your audience and nailing what you want to do and what you want to share and the transformation that you want to share. And then having all of the tools, like for me, that helped me identify what I loved and to find my voice. And then to know how to put it together to offer value and transformation to others. So yeah, I think that's the two major takeaways, like the mindset shift, or it's not just mindset, it's also like business strategy. Yeah. And then it really felt like I had the blueprint. So that's why the transition was so easy with the pandemic. And if I have only one regret, is that when I saw that my heart wasn't into building a course for beginners or a course for anxiety, I should have just said, screw it, I'm going to do my yoga teacher training online anyways. And it would not have taken a pandemic for me to do what I believed in. But this is how things happen. It allowed me to be ready and move.
Yeah. Certainly. You know. And this is the future now. I mean, what do you think in terms of Yoga Alliance and their future policies and how that might impact you? I think somebody's actually asked this question as well in the group. Move on Yoga Dubai. Will we ever go back to in-person trainings? So it's kind of linked to...
I think we will. I think we will, because there's a lot of value in in-person training. I honestly have no idea how Yoga Alliance is going to play out the future. They've been so responsive during that pandemic. They blew my mind with their reactiveness and how they adapted, and they realized like, oh, we need a little bit more control and parameters here, and reacted to that. So honestly, I only have good things to say about Yoga Alliance for their reaction. Now, whether that's going to allow them to realize that online is such a valuable way of learning, for me, more valuable than in person in many ways, not in all ways, but in many, many ways. I'm hoping that they will actually make online something that is permanent, because there's so many opportunities for people to learn from teachers they wouldn't have access to, or to learn while they're working or have to take care of their families. That it would be a shame to go back in time. And you know what, for me, Yoga Alliance or not, we're going to keep running the training online, because what I've seen our graduates from the online program are as competent and even more motivated than in-person training.
Amazing. That's amazing. And we have another question here. Do you work alone? You have Ella in your team, but is there anybody else in your team? So you've got a business partner.
I have Ella, well, we've been a team of 3 since the beginning of Zaz Yoga. Our third partner has been on maternity leave for a while. So Ella and I have been running the online training. We have a little bit of help for marketing, but no, it's a 2-woman business at the moment.
Amazing. Cool. Well, thank you so much. It's been wonderful to have you here in the group and share your journey and share what you've been doing with your online trainings. And is there anything else you want to share with us? Any offerings that are suitable for teachers here in this community that we can know about?
We do actually have a program that's specifically for yoga teachers. So it's a lot of the content of our yoga teacher training. When after a few months, we noticed how our students were confident and how they were competent and understood the practice in depth with our online training, we decided to open the training for existing teachers. There's really shocking data that about 70% of people graduating from an online teacher training don't feel ready to teach or don't feel confident to teach. So we have a bridge program which has the content over 200-hour one-on-one calls with us and access to all of our weekly calls as well into the community. And during that bridge program, graduate teachers can learn sequencing, better queuing, how to demonstrate. So all of the teaching skills that you need, as well as in-depth deep dive into the asanas and how to adapt them to different body type, body shape, age, levels of practices, so that they become very confident if anyone comes in front of them to teach them. So that program is, at the moment, we have a 3-day free trial. If you're interested to have a sneak peek and see if that's for you, it's at, I'll share the link with you, but onlinetraining.zazyoga.com/go-bridge.
Right. Okay. We'll share
I'll
that.
send you the link so that you can share it
in the email as well. That will go out. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much, Marylene, for your time today. And we are very proud of you here at Digital Yoga Academy. So keep doing amazing things and sharing yoga with the world. And yeah, keep us updated with any new developments as well.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, and thanks for making all of that possible with your knowledge and your course. Honestly, I think it would have taken me 6 months to put together an online training without your knowledge. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Sending you so much love, and I hope to see you in Bali very, very soon. Bye, darling. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, sweetheart. Bye.